Good morning, everybody, and welcome. We'll give everybody just a second to get signed on and join us. I hope everybody's having a great Monday morning. We'll give everybody just a minute to join us, and we'll get started. Okay, my name is June Sisk, and I work with Girl Scouts Carolina Speaks to Piedmont, and we serve 40 counties in central and western North Carolina. And today we are going to do one of my favorite activities, which is wood burning. Today we're going to do just a little introductory to it. This is a great activity that you can do at home or with your girls or girls in your troop, with your daughter. I love to give gifts, and I think that it's really valuable to give a personal gift. And wood burning is a great and relaxing way to customize a gift and give it to someone. So we're going to talk about some of the things that you needed to get started. And I just want to mention, my friend Molly is in the chat box. So if you guys have any questions about anything that you're doing, pop that in the chat box, and Molly will take care of us. Give us a thumbs up if you can hear me and we're good. Thumbs up? Okay. So to get started, things that you need for wood burning is you need a clear surface that doesn't have any fabric or flammable objects on it. So if you do this on a table, make sure that you don't have a tablecloth or plastic or a placemat down or anything like that, because it will burn right through it. You need a wood burner. Now, there's lots of different types of wood burners out there, and they vary in price. I've got 3 different kinds here. These are probably my favorite. These are the ones that are like $6 from Walmart. Sometimes they have an on-off switch and sometimes they don't. You just plug them in. But these are the ones that you can't adjust the temperature set on them. They just stay nice and hot, and these are like my tried and true. And then you've got some that are a little more fancy, and they have like heat adjuster and all that kind of stuff to them. So it's like any good art. It just comes on to what your preference is as an artist and what tools you want to work with. So the most important thing with Girl Scouts and anytime we do anything is safety. So let's cover a couple things that we need to do to be safe. So wood burners are hot, okay? And they're gonna burn anything they touch. So before we started today, I went ahead and turned all my wood burners on. If you guys can see, I've got them spaced out. I've got them sitting on stands. You always want to be really, really careful that your wood burners, it's going to be hot from the plastic forward. So any of this can burn or melt. And if you've got a stand to put it on, that's great. If not, please lay it flat. As you can see, it's not going to touch. You never, ever, ever want to grab the metal part of your wood burner. You want to make sure that, as you can see right here, that it doesn't touch cords, because that happened. Always make sure that if you're not allowed to play with soda matches, you want to have an adult present when you're doing this, because it's that same concept. So different types of tips and stuff that you can use for your wood burner. Some of your wood burners will come with a variety of tips that you can use. As you can see, I've got some here. You guys will get a little bit closer and zoom in with me. You got a round one that'll just kind of draw anything you want to. This will do straight lines, curves, shading, filling in. We've got pointed ones that you can write with like a pencil. You've got flat ones that you can do straight edges with. You've got ones that can make like leaf imprints. You've got some for shading. You've got some that you can use just to make dots and circles. So before you plug your wood burner in, you want to make sure that you put your tip in. Now, your tip is going to be cold to begin with, so you're going to be able to screw it in with your fingers. I always like to be safe, so even when my tip is cold, I have a small pair of pliers that I use, and I hold it really gently, and I screw it in that way. Keep in mind, when this gets hot, it may loosen up a little bit, and you want to tighten it back up. But when you do that, when metal is hot, it bends. So when you're using your wood burner, be really careful that you don't bend it. And then when you're pressing on it and using it, someone borrowed my wood burner, and I don't know if you can see, they pressed on this really hard when they were using it, and they bent the tip. So be really careful when you're using that. All right. So we're going to get started. I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you can do stencils and transfers and make different projects. So to get started, you always want to use a piece of wood that is smooth and unfinished. And where do you get stuff like that? I love to get stuff from the Dollar Tree. At most Dollar Trees, they have a craft aisle, or the craft aisle at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Michaels, and you can get all kinds of different little, unfinished projects that you can work on. You can go to Lowe's and get a piece of wood cut and have your parents help you sand it or whatever. But as you can see, these are really easy to use. They're soft pine. They're already sanded and smooth. You don't have to do anything except write on this and start going with it. Alright, so how do you have a design? You can always take your wood burner and just freehand it. Now me, I love to create, but I'm not the best drawing artist. So I like to make sure, because with wood burning, you got one shot. You can't erase a wood burn and start over. So whatever you burn on that piece of wood is staying on there. So I always like to have a template to go with. So you can do a couple different things. Like I had my daughter draw this design on there for me. So once you have your design, you can draw it on there. And the great thing is, if you do it really lightly, you want to make sure that you're not making any impressions in your wood. You can erase it and you can redraw it. So we're going to start with this piece and doing a little design. As I said earlier, my favorite tip to use is the round one. And I just want to make sure it's screwed in there tight, so I'm going to grab it really gently and twist it. And you can always, this is my tester piece. This is an old coaster from a project that I did. I always put my wood burner on there first and make sure that it is nice and hot. You want to be very fluid when you're doing your wood burning, because as you'll see, if I put my tip on there and I slide it straight and I pause, see how we have gaps in our wood burning and it looks like we started and stopped? But if you keep pressure on there consistently, you'll have one good solid line. And this comes with practice, okay? You can't always go back over it and make it thicker and make it more solid, but you're just going to want to practice. So anytime that when you get your wood burner and you get started, get you a couple pieces of pine from Lowe's and go out there with your parents and sand them a little bit and just practice. Don't start on the project that you want to give your grandma for her birthday. So what we're going to do here is, I always like to work from the inside out. When you first get started, it's great to start on a really, really small project, because you'll have the ability to twist it and turn it and move it whichever way works best for you. So we're just going to start with the circle here on the center, and I'm going to tilt it up a little bit so you guys can see it. I don't like to wood burn with this tip straight down. I like to use the edge of it so I get a little bit of a thinner line. And you're just going to draw. Remember that we're all human, and this is not going to be perfect like a computer, but that's what it's going to look like. And then let's do a couple leaves. So if you guys already have your wood burner at home and you have it up and running, and you guys are doing any projects, post pictures of them in the comments. And while I'm sitting here working on this for a minute, let's talk my favorite subject, which is Girl Scouts. So this is one of the cool projects that we do a lot at camp. And we do have some really neat virtual camps available this summer. You can learn about those by visiting camplikeagirl.org. And if you're not already a Girl Scout, we have a really, really amazing 3-week virtual troop series that you can check out. And it'll give you an introduction to Girl Scouts. You'll meet Girl Scouts from all across our 40 counties. And then after that series, we will help you reconnect with girls in your local area. And you can learn more about our virtual troops by visiting beagirlscout.org/connect. And my friend Molly is going to put those in the chat box for you. So as you can see, as we've been talking, I've just been sitting here and drawing, and all I'm doing is tracing over the lines that we're drawing on here. So when you get done, you can do a couple different things. You can paint over this with a really light color paint. You can stain it, you can Mod Podge it, whatever you want to. But then you can give it as a gift. Remember, there's two sides to every piece of wood, so you always will have the opportunity to do something on the other side. Just to have a finished piece to show you guys, I just wrote the words "be kind" on there and did a little daisy flower at the top. So when this gets done, I'll be able to give this as a gift to a friend. So let's look at some of the different types of tips that you can use. We're going to use another practice coaster here. So this is another common tip that a lot of wood burners come with. It looks like the end of a pencil. And this is one that a lot of people bend really, really easy and make it wind up looking like this because they press too hard on it when it gets hot. You want, the hotter your wood burner, the darker your line is going to be. So you can actually write with this. Like I can sit here and write my name. Anytime that you're going against the grain, anytime you're crossing over the grain lines, it's harder to do because it's not as smooth and your wood burner is going to want to jump around. But you can actually write out your name with this. Another one of my favorite ones, because a lot of things I do are nature themed. I love this one. It makes almost like a leaf impression. So you can sit there and all you have to do is press this one down, and I usually count to 5. And I push harder on one side than I do the other because I like the dual burning. That's another thing you can do. And I'm going to show you guys one more method. So if you are a member of my family, at some point in time, you have got a custom coaster set for me. It is absolutely one of my favorite gifts to give my family members. I go to Hobby Lobby and I get a 4 set of coasters way back in the back of the store on the unfinished aisle. And I don't know if you guys recognize this, but I have a lot of friends who are Harry Potter fans. So what I did was I printed out a Harry Potter symbol, and my coaster is 4 inches wide. So I made my picture proportionate to that. And then all you have to do is just get a regular number 2 pencil, and I'm actually going to take the thing and I'm going to push really hard, and I'm going to trace my design. And what that does is it's going to leave a really slight impression in your coaster. You can do this, or you can draw it and trace over it. I like to do this sometimes because I don't have to go back and erase it. And if it's already pressed down in the wood where this is not very soft, my wood burner doesn't jump around. So I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but there is an indentation in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and do a couple lines of it while we're talking. Other things to remember, guys, is the biggest thing that I can caution you is these wood burners are hot. Always make sure, I don't normally have 2 or 3 of them going at a time. I usually only have 1. That way I'm really careful about switching out my tips and not burning my cords and stuff. But anything that's hot is very unforgiving. As you guys can see, my line just jumped on me a little bit there. So I'm going to have to hold it steady, and I'm going to have to push in pretty hard. And I can go back and straighten this up a little bit and go over it. Pine is probably your easiest wood to wood burn on because it is light colored and it's extremely soft. Okay, so that is all about beginning wood burning. I hope everyone goes to Walmart or orders on Amazon and get yourself a wood burner. Go to your local dollar store, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, whatever, and just get you guys a couple pieces. Like with this, you could put your name on it, and it could be June's Room, or it could be Fairy Garden, or your Arrow for Success. This would make a great custom jewelry box, like little tray to put whatever in. And then, like I said, you can paint it, stain it, and make these really, really special gifts. This is meant to be fun and relaxing. The one thing that you can't sense right now, because you guys can only see it, is this does smell like a campfire when you get all done. So when you're sitting there, make sure that no one in your house has a problem with burning. And I don't know if you guys can see it, there's a little bit of smoke coming off there right now because I'm actually burning wood. And I absolutely love the smell of the campfire. So for me, this is very therapeutic. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed our introduction to wood burning today, and I hope you had a blast. And please remember that if you're not already a Girl Scout and would like more information, visit beagirlscout.org. And if you have any questions or want to connect with us, you can call us at 1-800-672-2148 or send us an email at info@girlscoutsptp.org. Thank you, friends, and I hope you had a wonderful day.